All right, welcome back, my friends. We're here at the table with the Jeep GLU Wrangler. This is the Axial SCX24. I basically want to give you an idea of what we have on this Jeep. It's mostly stock, and when I say mostly, it's like 97% stock. The only modifications I've done are, the last one I did was adding a magnetic body clip. I 3D printed this. I had a magnet that's under here and a magnet that's under the body. That is not going to affect the performance. Also, while on Temu one day, I found these black brass weighted wheel hubs that you can add. I got that on Temu, and it came with a black brass differential cover for front and rear. So we have those covers, and we have the wheel weight. And then the only other modification, the very first modification I did actually, was the wheels and tires themselves. Those that come with it were just, if they work for you, great. They did not work for me and my needs. So I purchased these. Now, this was a combo, and they were fairly cheap. I think it was like $24 or so when I purchased this. Now, this is the Pro line. You can see the Pro line there. And this is the Hyrax. This is their smallest tire available. I've got it on here, and I like this tire so much, I actually have it on my SCX6 as well. It's great for rock climbing. Anyway, so we're going to put these on there, and we're going to check out the performance before we do these other modifications. Here we are on the course, and we're just going to hit this course in a few different spots just to kind of look at things, how it handles things, and then we're going to upgrade it and see how many changes we notice. So this is a decently steep climb here. This does have those round weighted hubs in the front, no problem, especially with those tires being clean. I can tell you early before I cleaned them, it was struggling a little bit, but no problem there. Let's hit another spot. Here we are. At this grade is as steep. It's got a little extra obstacles in the way, and coming off of this bottom part of the course onto the top can be a little tricky at times. So we're going to see how this handles it here. We may flip, we'll see. No problem. Again, I'm telling you, those tires are making the difference, and cleaning them made a huge difference. All right, let's see what else we can find to get into. Okay, so coming up to this is one of the trickiest parts of my course. It has some dips here where the lava has eroded it, and if you're not careful, you can tip. And we're going to try to just let it ride out straight here. All right, I got us caught up here with the camera angle, and you can see there it is tricky. We're probably going to take a tumble. We're going to ease on out just in case, though. So really, we're going to have new shocks and new high clearance links. It may affect the ride. It may make it a little taller, and it may not handle some of this as well. We're going to find out. Let's hit one more steep angle, and we will listen to that whining motor before we put that nice Injora in, and we're going to see how it handles this climb. Now, this is one of the most slick and harder climbs for it. Okay, generally this Jeep does not like this hill. We're going to see, and it doesn't really tip backwards or anything, and I'm afraid that when we put the big bore shocks on there, giving it a little height, it may may just need some new tires. All right, so this part too can also be a little tricky at times. We're going to see how it handles it later with the new black brass high clearance links, and also the bigger shocks. Not too bad going down. We're going to give this a try coming back the other way. So here we come back the other way. We're going to see how it handles the climb now. I pause it for a moment to find my line, and hey, look at there we go. But anyway, I did hit it earlier by getting on that other side. All right, so that's some of the testing. We're going to stop there, and we're going to do some upgrades over on the table. We're going to talk about what we're going to add to this SCX24 Jeep Wrangler. And we're going to start with some Injora 40mm big bore shock. We'll check that out, see if we need to add a little oil, and if so, we will. The next thing we're going to add is the Injora high clearance black brass links. We're going to add some weight down low with those. I think that looks sharp. I'm a bigger fan of the black brass as opposed to the regular color brass. All right, the next thing we're going to add is we're going to take those generic weighted wheel hubs off, and we're going to add these Hobby Park. They are weighted black brass, and they're extensions of 10 millimeter. So we'll give that out to kick those wheels out a little bit. We're also going to be adding purple Viper motor that is made for the SCX24, and it's an outrunner motor. And with that, I bought the combo. Comes the micro brushless ESC, which is the MBL32. This is the G2, the Generation 2. It's got an easy switch here for your 7.4 volts or your 6 volts. Really like that design. And with that, because this comes with a unit that has the ESC and the receiver built in together, when we take that out, we'll no longer be able to use the regular controller unless we, buy the receiver to go with it. So a transmitter and receiver. So anyway, what we do is with that motor, I just went ahead and bought another receiver and transmitter. I bought the Spectrum SLT3, and for the receiver, it is the SR315. So anyway, we're going to do that, and then also I will not be able to use this little bitty battery here that came with it, the little 2S. I want to get good performance, so I found these on Amazon. It is a 3S with 11.4 volts. I will get more milliamps later. I just needed something to test it out. We'll see how much runtime I get out of this. It was a 2-pack, and it's no problem to lift that up now that I've taken that body post on and putting that magnetic mounting system on there. So it's not going to be a problem to change the battery. Anyway, we're going to get into this, and we're going to see how this thing performs. We're back on the course with this Jeep all jacked up, but is bigger and more clearance, always better. We're going to take a look at that. Now, this Jeep is much taller with these shocks, the 40 millimeter big bore by Proline. And I put on, these are actually some tires and wheels from my TRX 4M Chevy K10. I just don't have any extra Injora tires right now that I can spare to put on here. So we're going to see how it does. It does look more proportionate with these wheels on here and tires rather than the ones that were already on there. So anyway, I'm going to make a prediction that these inclines are going to tip this thing backwards. Now we do have the Injora brushless motor in here, so we are able to creep like a snail. Yeah, we can move even slower if we want, but these tires are decent for climbing. I did take them off of the TRX 4M for a reason, so we're going to give them a try on here, but my prediction is this is just going to keep tipping anyway. It's just too tall. We're going to try a different line real quick. But again, this thing is so tall. So what I'm thinking I'm going to have to do is get a low center of gravity chassis. I'm going to try to 3D print one first, though. We're actually making it up and there we go. I figured that would happen. So anyway, we're going to move it to the next part of the course, which I think is going to give us even a bigger problem. So with that other hill giving us a problem, I am telling you right now, this one is not going to be manageable with the height of this Jeep. We all like that. Well, I shouldn't say we all. A lot of us like that jacked up look, but I'm already popping a wheelie. There's just no way that it can handle this incline anymore. So, if you're climbing all right, you may want to reconsider before making your V-hit. There we go. We're losing contact in the front. Unless you're planning on putting on a low center of gravity chassis. And so there you have it. So let's move to the next part of the course. So this part is where we test the side hill. There's going to be a big dip right up here, and with this added height, I am pretty sure it's going to be a lot easier to tip. I'm going to take it nice and easy, hug the inside. I'm going to kind of ride this dip a little bit, and yeah, we're already in some trouble. If I turn the wheel either way, we're probably going to run into an issue, but we're going to try anyway. All right, not out of the woods yet. I'm going to creep down through here, and generally I can let it, before I jacked it up, I can let it ride straight out of here, as you saw earlier, and boom, there we go. This thing's just too tall. All right, so real quick, because this Jeep sits so high, I tried out printing a low center of gravity chassis that we printed on the 3D printer. We're going to give this a try. We're going to have to switch everything over to this chassis and take a look to see if it helps with that height, because with that height, as you saw, it was just not climbing. Before we get this over on the course for testing, let's take a look at the modifications I did, whether it was an upgrade or a 3D printed modification that I thought I would really like on this thing. Now, while I like the look, I'm expecting, you know, a little bit of disappointment on the course for now. I really think I'm going to need some more brass on this thing up front, maybe a brass skid plate, keep that weight down low. Anyway, so we're going to start by looking here at the outside. I add a stinger bumper here. This is 3D printed. I put some Mod Podge to help strengthen that on there. I put a glossy one. Next, I have this roof rack here. That's 3D printed as well. I just used for now because I didn't know if I'd end up leaving it or not. It is adding some weight in an area that I really don't need the weight right now. That's why I have not added things such as propane tanks or camping gear, that kind of thing, because I'm trying to minimize the weight that I have towards the back of the rig here and try to keep it up front. Down here, I like the look of this, even though it comes out a little further from the body. It was made for the C10, but I printed this off. I like this little exhaust here. I think it gives it a nice touch. All right, let's open this thing up, and we're going to take a look at those modifications that I showed you. I showed you the high clearance links before, and these shocks. Now, I've got these shocks angled in low, trying to keep this thing down low so that when we do hit the course, maybe we'll get some favorable results. I am still predicting that this thing is not going to climb very well, not like it did out of the box, to be honest. I do have these in the back and a little high. However, those are lighter than you might expect. I mean, you guys deal with ESCs and these receivers here, so you know they're fairly light. On these here, I had some Hobby Park brass. Now, you're supposed to mount this to the chassis itself near the skid plate there, but the holes didn't line up to where I can mount it under here appropriately. So I just took some double stick tape, put it on here, and I shifted the majority of the weight to the front without being in the way of the tires and the shocks. Hopefully that'll help us out a little bit when we hit the course, having that weight shifted forward a little bit. I don't know how much it's going to help, but I did have to make some more modifications on my mounting system. So here I had to stack it up a little bit with this new stinger bumper. I have a larger magnet, and then underneath I have a set of small magnets that touch down on that. Now, when you do 3D print a stinger bumper, you do have to modify your body a little bit. Some of you guys may not want to do that. At first, I was hesitant, but it looks pretty good here in the front, I think. What do you think about that? So I had to cut out right here to make room for that stinger, for that to slide down over its mounting system there. But overall, I like the look. I wasn't sure if I would like it at first. I kind of like the traditional bumper, but now if we're going to make this a crawling rig off-road and more than just a trail Jeep, we have to make some of those other modifications. I am going to save a lot of time here, guys, and go ahead and let you know that I had recordings of trying up my setup that you just saw. However, it was still struggling to keep from tipping backwards. So I've got these shocks tilted in at very, very strong angles there. Found a way to move my battery up front without blocking the servo. I can max out my shocks, you know, before it hits the bottom. Everything's good there. Also, I was able to shift this stuff here forward just a little bit, not a whole lot, but you know, a lot of the weight back here has been reduced. We got that battery up front to kind of help keep those front wheels down. And I also removed that roof rack. It was just weight that I didn't need up there, so I took that off. Everything else that you saw just a moment ago is the same. And now we are getting those results we want. Give me just one moment. I'll get this back on the table and show you that we're crawling much better again. We are back here on the course. Again, just want to explain real quick. So earlier, I did shoot a whole series of testing again, the same ones that we did earlier, but this thing was just not crawling right. It kept tipping backwards no matter what I did. So anyway, we put this battery up front, shifted some of that other stuff around as well. My tires I didn't clean very good. They usually grips a lot better when I clean them, when I didn't do it. But anyway, as you can see, we're just not tipping backwards like we were earlier. We're able to, you know, climb again without losing that footing in the front. So anyway, mission accomplished on this hill here. And we're going to move to the next part where we conducted the test earlier. And there you have it. We're making it up the hill now without tipping backwards by moving that battery forward, and as well as the electronics. All right, before this video gets too long, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Those of you who made it to the end of this video, I want to thank you for your time, your attention to this video. I hope you found something in there that was at least a little bit entertaining, maybe something that was even informative. In my next project on this course, now I may have some other videos in the meantime, some shorts or crawling with these trucks. However, I'm going to tackle a project on my course. You can see the lava lighting there on top and bottom. It's static lighting. It's, not dancing or moving. So I want to go for a little more realism. So what I will be doing is removing that lighting that I have in there, the existing lighting, and we're going to try these LED flame light bulbs to get it dancing more. Get it there in shot for you. But anyway, I have the bulbs here. I have two of them, and I have the bulb outlets to put them into, plug them up, and get them going. However, I'm not sure when I'll get to that. Just keep an eye out, and I'll try to get that video here soon. I really enjoy doing projects on the course. So anyway, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you don't want to miss any content from me. And again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.